Every parent at some point has to deal with the empty nest. And today, Lynn and I are here with Veronica James, who figured out a very unusual and adventurous way to deal with her empty nest. She and her husband, David, closed down the nest and went on the road pretty much like gypsies, thus the name GypsyNesters. And welcome, Veronica, to Whoa. We're happy
Welcome,
to have
Veronica.
you. So tell
Thank
us
you.
how did you, what kind of inspired you to do this in the first place?
Well, when the nest emptied, when my son decided to go to college, I couldn't think of life without my kids. And I was very much a homebody. I was helicopter mom. I knew everything that went on with them. I mean, as a matter of fact, I worked at their school. And I know, crazy.
Okay, you win. You win.
I know. And so the idea of going back to my desk and going back to that school and not having my kids there was terrifying to me. And so I told my husband, we've just got to cut the cord. We got to do something completely wild, completely different. And luckily for me, he's kind of wild and different already. So we just decided to sell everything and take off traveling and just see what the next phase of our life would be.
Now, I'm kind of curious, did the kids go, phew, or did they go, wait? What did the kids do?
I think in general, I think at first they thought we were nuts. I mean, my son, basically we ended up buying an RV for our travels in the United States, and he actually stepped onto it for the first time and went, "You live in your car?" I mean, it was just, so that kind of stuff was a little different from them. But because I'm such a helicopter mom. I call myself a recovering helicopter mom, but because of that, I, think that they really were pretty happy that I wasn't calling them all the time. That mom's happy that she's got something that she enjoys, and I leave them alone for the most part.
So you've really expanded it way beyond, I think, what you had planned on in the first place, right? You're practically now travel experts. You're making videos, which I hope people will really enjoy watching your adventures.
They're going international. Interesting.
Yes, we are. I mean, it's kind of started out, like I said, we ended up getting an RV, which was a completely different story because we're boat people. We lived in the islands and we had boats, and that was kind of the original idea. But the thing is, when you live on an island in the Caribbean, you don't get to see people that much. When the kids went off to college, we would go up to the States to see them. So I hadn't seen my brother in 10 years. It was crazy.
Right.
So basically we thought, we'll get the RV and we'll just go from coast to coast and see everybody in between. And so we ended up doing that. It took us about 8 months or so. And then we went to Mexico. And it was kind of a little crisis time there. We kind of went, what now? And basically it ended up, I said, well, remember, David, remember when I was when I was afraid to leave the nest and sell everything? And he's like, yeah. And I said, well, I'm more afraid to stop now. So we just, yeah. So that's kind of where we are. I'm kind of petrified to quit what we're doing.
Well, you have really reinvented yourself at midlife. I mean, it's and really kind of pushed forward the things that a lot of women want to do. I mean, a lot of people want to travel, and you're really doing it with a vengeance. Any pieces of advice for anybody else who would be wild enough to consider something like this?
People say all the time, you're traveling, and that's great. But I mean, I don't know if it's for everybody. But what I think is for everybody at this time of life, and I'm sure you'll agree, is you've got to step outside of your comfort zone. You've got to push yourself to do things that you normally wouldn't do. I mean, I went paragliding over the beach cliffs of Lima, and I joined a roller derby team for a while, and but I'm trying, but I was a really sad case. I mean, going from where I was then to where I was now, I really had to push myself.
Yeah.
So but I mean, if you've got that book in you, write the book. If you've wanted to volunteer in a community, go do that. Go do stuff. That's
Right.
the most important thing when the nest empties, because you've lost a whole community. You've lost all those people calling you to, sew tutus and help build sets and bring snacks to sporting events. All that's gone. It just stops, and it's abrupt.
Yes, it is.
It is. And I think that we'll just point out that one of the things about pushing the envelope and doing things that are challenging, I'm sure everybody noticed the door behind Veronica, which you didn't see, opening and closing, and the sound drops out. I just want to say this is part of our adventure in venturing out with WOA and using new technology. So this is a step out too, and hope everybody will enjoy watching the GypsyNesters and watching Veronica have all her adventures all over the world. So thank you, whoa, to everybody, and thanks for joining us.
Whoa. Safe travels, Veronica.
Well, thank you, you guys. This was great. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.